Welcome back to The Yarn, Behind the Brand,
Yo.
with Josh and Nick. And we've just been having a discussion about, I guess, the roles that we're playing in this podcast, this business venture. And to give a bit of, I guess, a recap on how this all came about, because we haven't really shared too much around why this podcast is happening, how it started. So I came to Josh with this idea about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the lounge watching Gary Goat, and he's talking about how you should have a podcast interviewing business owners, getting to know who they are, and essentially it's going to build that connection, that network, and down the track drive business to your own business.
Yeah.
And I sat and I thought about that. I got Better Media, the studio. Josh has TKV, so his videography, photography business. And I was like, okay, how can we come together here and build something? Because we've worked together on projects before, and we just click. We have that connection, that friendship, but also that business relationship. So I thought, let's just start a podcast together. Let's get local Western Sydney business owners into the studio, show them what it's like to actually be in the studio, the content side of things, build a relationship with myself and Josh, and let's see what we can do down the track. But ultimately, what we're doing is, through having these conversations, we're building their businesses up, their name, and getting to show the people behind the business. Because the reality is people buy people. People don't buy businesses. People buy people. So if I want to buy a piece of clothing, like, yeah, cool clothing's cool, but I want to know who I'm buying from. Yeah. What is their journey to get to where they are now? Like, for example, YKTR or Front Runner, G'd Up. Like, their journey, their story. Yeah, people are buying the people. So I was like, I'm going to Josh with this idea. He was very hesitant at the start. He's like, oh, do I do this? Do I not? Yeah. And then he came back to me a couple of weeks later. I was like, yeah, let's take action on this. And we've released episode 1 with Robert Fye, and that's doing pretty damn good. And coming back to the beginning where I mentioned that we just spoke about the roles that we're going to play. Yeah. Now, I said to Josh, you know what? Like, you can host the first couple of episodes. In that first episode, I was sitting there in that chair, and even before that, when you just walked in the room and the energy and the excitement, it was like a little kid in the candy store, and you were excited to get back into podcasting. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, this is going to be great for what we're doing. But sitting there and throughout the podcast, I noticed that this is your thing, bro. And I started to reflect on currently what I'm doing. I have my own podcast. I'm trying to run the business, trying to be a dad. Yeah,
Better Media.
My day-to-day job. I was like, you know what? We can still do this together, but let Josh be the face of it. He can be the host. He can do all the guest side of things. I can be behind the scenes. And then we can come together and do this chat where we just touch on life, business,
behind the brand,
the ups and downs, all that kind of stuff, the ins and outs of it all. So that's where it came from, bro, of me just sitting there and seeing, like, this is you, like, you're hungry for it, you really enjoy it. And instead of me getting 6 to 10 episodes in and then myself going, nah, I can't be fucked.
You're busy.
Yeah, I'm too busy, don't want to do it. Straight from the beginning, you know what, Josh, like, man, you're the guest guy. If you organize your guests, I'll send you through guests if I think they're a good suit for the podcast. And there may be a time down the track that I do jump on and I do host episodes. But for me, podcasting, I just want to focus on my podcast and my business, and in a way just focus on building this without being, like, in front of the microphone. So that's where that kind of thought process came from, and I actually just dropped that on Josh like 10 minutes ago. So, man, what are you thinking about all that? And whilst I eat my burrito.
Yeah, eat, bro.
Because I'm starving.
Well, firstly, I was grateful, man. Like, I'll just say this firstly. This is the reason why I wanted to partner with you. It's not just because you got a nice, pretty studio. It's not just because you have a background in podcasting, but it's because of moments like this. For those people that don't know, me and Nicky have been doing like pretty much life together for the past 2 to 3 years. It hasn't been that long. Like, by the way, it has been like, 10, 15 years. But we've only been doing it for the past couple of years. But the amount of respect that I have for this guy, it is, I cannot find anyone else out there that I have that much love and respect. But also, the work ethic that you have, like, and even just the fact that you can be transparent to me and just put your head up and say, hey, bro, this is where I'm currently at. It takes guts to have that. And I'll be honest, I didn't have that growing up. Like, I didn't have mates out there that kind of bring it up and be like, hey, this is where I'm currently at. I used to have guys out there that will just leave, They'll just be like, oh, I'm over it. They didn't have the ability to have the emotional intelligence to have that uncomfortable conversation. Because let's be real, you're probably feeling that when you're like, oh, I don't know if I should bring it up to Josh. I don't know how he's going to feel. But you've done it anyways. And that's, to me, the reason why I wanted to do work with you. And it's not just because, we're good mates and stuff, but it's also because I know that you're willing to open up when you feel like, it's going to be a bit uncomfortable for you or a comfortable situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad that you've done it anyways. So I just wanted to mention that at the start. Really grateful for that. But in terms of like how I'm feeling now, bro, I'm proud of you. Like, I'm just happy.
So you're going to come back into the studio?
Hey?
You come back? You're
Yeah, I'm
just going to
coming
walk
back.
out and be like,
No,
this guy, I'm out of here.
No, I'm definitely coming back. I think these are the conversations that needs to be like happening on a constant basis. If you're in a position where you're like, okay, I've got a lot in my hands, like, this is where we're going to have the conversation, right? It's better to have the conversation now than when it happens. Prevention is greater than cure.
Yep.
It's better to prevent it from happening, the breakdown of a business or a brand or even what we're doing now, than for us to get to the point where, as you said, 5, 6 episodes down, you're thinking like, I don't do this at all completely.
Yeah.
So I was grateful, bro, when you mentioned it, like to the point where I was like, okay, it gives us a clear distinction of where you are and where I am. Obviously, I'm already G'd up to do it anyways. It's been a while since I've been on the behind the mic, but there's one thing I remember from the conversation that we had together is that, and it's something that you mentioned, which is that I'm a natural conversationalist guy. I can have a conversation with anyone.
Yeah.
And the fact that it had brought it to your attention that, it gave you the clear decision that, okay, I think Josh should be the face. I'm just glad they made the decision, to be honest. Like, he actually went and said, okay, I feel like it should be best for Josh to do this and me be behind the scenes doing the stuff so that you can focus on growing your podcast and your brand.
Tell you what it is too, is being totally honest is like, there's one thing to love business and I guess being in it and growing it, but there's another to actually be sitting here and talking about business. I don't particularly like to sit here and talk about business.
Yeah.
Like, just we have our conversations.
Yeah,
but
I think it's because you've been doing a lot of the better project. Like you've been doing it for like years, bro.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if that was a thing in your mind.
For me, it's just sticking to the kind of conversations that I like to have is actually getting to know the person. And obviously, business is a part of
the journey.
What people do and the journey. But we wanted to have a kind of clear distinction between the Better Project and Behind the Brand and have this more so focused on business while still getting to know the person behind like the business itself. So in a way, I kind of find it hard how we're going to have that distinction if I'm in the chair interviewing people.
That's true.
So that was a big thing for me. It's like, that's why Josh needs to do this.
Yeah.
Because you're not running the Better Project. I am. And that's my conversation. And if I was to sit in this chair.
That's your brand too.
Yeah. If I was to sit in here and interview people, I don't think it would feel natural for me. I would feel, and it's not to say feeling uncomfortable is bad. It's actually good. But like for what we're trying to build here, I think that's why you need to be the face of it.
It's good, bro. It's good. And that's actually really good. I see it as really good self-awareness, because if you weren't aware that that's how you were feeling or thinking, and you didn't bring it up, then it would eventually get brought up anyways, later on.
Yeah.
Like we might be at a point where we're at like, podcast 30, and for you, like, yeah, this is the last podcast we're going to do. And then if you think about it, if you wanted to get out of something, and it reminds you of where my current 9 to 5 job is at now, working at Woolies. If you think about it, if you are not willing to be transparent enough and honest to your boss about it, you're not going to tell them that you're going to leave. You're going to find some sort of excuse to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to be like, oh, you might tell them, I've got another job. Or you might say to them, oh, I've got, a heap load of, let's say studying. And you kind of find some sort of excuse to move away. But you'll never really go up to them and tell them, okay, I want to get out of this. Whereas what you done is the complete opposite. You actually just came up, you brought it to the table, funnily enough, and you actually brought up the situation of where you're at.
And see, I never used to be like that either. And it's something that I've definitely gotten a lot better at.
Yep.
Especially when it came to like where I'm at right now in life and my day job. I would used to look for so many excuses to get out of work. And then last year I bit the bullet. I think it was after talking to you maybe, or we had a conversation about it, maybe pre or post, whatever. But I bit the bullet and I called my dad and I was like, you know what, this is getting too much with my podcast, with the clients. I just can't fit it all in because then it's taking away from who I am and being present with my family. I need to pull off and I need to do work Monday to Thursday and have Friday off so I can focus on this client and better project stuff. And just by having that open and honest conversation, he goes, yeah, fine.
Yeah, he said it was fine. I remember
and I'm on the phone. I'm like, what? Are you serious? Like, I would not have expected that response from him. And most people think when you be open and honest to your boss about something like that, they're just going to rip you a new asshole. The reality is if they're a boss that understands that, hey, this is not your passion, you're building something else which you are passionate about and you really want to put more time and energy into it, they're going to support that. And if they don't, you need to leave that job quicker. Like very quickly, because all they're going to do is hinder you from actually pursuing what you want to pursue. And I understand we've got bills to pay, which is why I'm still working my 9 to 5 currently. Yes, it is a family business. Yes, I don't mind working in it. Do I want to work in it from Monday to Friday? No.
To be honest,
Would I be fine working in it Monday to fucking Wednesday and having Thursday, Friday off? Yeah, that's the goal that I want to get to. But right now, I've gone back to working 5 days purely because of financial situations that happened last year with a lot of travel and stuff that I had to do. Well, I didn't have to do. I chose to do for the experience because you only live once. But it did hurt financially with the bills, and they just keep compounding. So I went back to work 5 days, which is fine. And then now building up my client base, it's all kind of coming back to a point where I can take off that Friday, which I'm excited for because in a way now I've kind of learnt my lesson. If I'm going to take that Friday off, I've got to make the most of it, and the financial side of things.
If you don't,
I'm going to have to go back.
Up the ass,
So I can either keep going back and forth, going, oh, I'm going to work Fridays. No, I'm going to take it off, and going back and forth, or I'm going to be like, you know what, I'm going to get the most out of these Fridays, get ahead of my financials. So then instead of going back to work on Fridays, I'm going to take Thursdays off now, or Mondays, or whatever the case is. So I'm grateful for that opportunity. And now I've learned a lot from that. So when I do it again, I can continue to make progress on that. So that in itself's been a journey. And I think a lot of business owners don't really speak about that, especially when you're in the trenches and you're balancing building your own thing over here while still working that 9 to 5. And then if you add being a parent or a partner or sporting commitments, or
not even that, bro, but what about yourself? What about building yourself up and, looking at that self-growth? Yeah, a lot of things comes into
Yeah,
to play.
it's not spoken about too often. So that's why we now have this platform.
Yeah, and even that too, I think that's the reason why we have this conversation that we're having now, which is the yarn. It gives us the ability to have these conversations behind the brand. So you got behind the brand, which is where we're having conversations with like, you know, other businesses, but the yarn is an opportunity for us to have a conversation.
It's our behind the brand.
Yeah, it's pretty much our, yeah. Like, we pretty much want to document our journey through a conversation. And it's good. It gives us an opportunity to kind of like let a bit of steam out of what's actually going on. And it's kind of like therapeutic for us.
Yeah.
Right? If there's one thing that me and Nikki do well together, and we've been doing it, I think this is what keeps us grounded. Our relationship is we have conversations like this. And some of the conversations we do have, no one knows. Like, not even our own partners know what the conversation we're having together. In a respectful way, by the way.
The missus just like, oh, he's on the phone to Josh again.
She's literally like that. I'm like in the car after work, and she's like, I just message her, oh, I'm on the phone with Nikki. And yeah, it's definitely something that is rare. I'll be honest. I don't like imagine, like, I don't know, if I look at some other guys, they don't have relationships like this where you can have a personal relationship but a business relationship at the same time. It's very, very rare. But yeah, just the fact that we do have it. Yeah, I couldn't choose anyone else. And that's what I had mentioned to you. Like when you gave me the news saying that, you know, I'll carry the interviews, I didn't even see it as an offense. I'm like, he's right though. Like I am G'd up and I'm keen to do this, and the fact that you had seen it, I'm like, okay, I'm not surprised. Like I'm not surprised that you mentioned it. But I did say though, I said, the only condition I'll have is that we'll do this together.
Yeah.
You know, to do these yarns. This is our thing, and if this is one thing that you can, you know, invest in, which is our plan is to obviously do the podcast episodes, and then after that we'll do the yarns straight away, which I think is smart. That's a freaking smart idea. Yeah, it gives the ability for people to see you.
Yeah,
and I want people to see you because, yeah, it's an our thing, not a me thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Coming back to the podcast itself, we've now recorded 2 episodes.
Yep.
We've released our first episode. Let's give the audience a quick recap on those 2 episodes and how are you personally feeling about them? You know, getting back into it. You haven't done podcasting for a while now, and for you to jump in and do 2 amazing conversations, and even today, like, fuck that, this episode was so good, bro. Like, I can't wait to drop it. Oh man, like I was so pumped, and I wasn't even in the room, and I could just feel that it's going to be a great conversation. So, man, let's give the listeners a quick recap on these first 2 weeks and how you're feeling about it all.
Yeah. So, first episode was with Robert Vi. He's the director of S2S Sports Australia. That first podcast, it really, like, so when I was preparing for it, not gonna lie, I was nervous, and the reason why I was nervous is because it wasn't because I felt like I wasn't like capable of doing it. I was just nervous because it's been a long time, and I, like, when I was doing the Impact Podcast show, which was my podcast that I did, I actually stopped doing that because, I'll be honest, like, I loved the conversation I had with the people, but in terms of the direction that I was going, it just wasn't there, right? And so, and even like looking into that, like the monetary value stuff, it was just, it was like I didn't see, like, the target audience was just everywhere. It was just, you know, as they say, if you focus on trying to get everyone, you're gonna get nobody. And so, like, I just kind of made the decision to pull it out. But I'll be honest, like, when I'd watch podcasts, whether it be your one, The Better Project, or it might be, you know, anyone else's, I'd always just have that itch of like, I just want to jump on and, you know, jump back on. And it wasn't until you asked me about it, you know, we should do like a business like opportunity together. And I was like, let me have a think about it. And then once I did, bang, I knew straight away. I was like, no, I need to get on. So having that conversation with Rob for the first time in like 2.5 years of me being on the hosting side, because I've done podcasts with you before, and some other people too. It's different when you're on the guest seat, but when you're on the host seat, it's a different ball game. Um, it was really good to have a timer.
Yep.
Just having it there. It was good to have questions in. So yeah, going through that episode 1, like I remember after I finished, and I was just filled with joy because I was finally back in my element. Even the feedback that I got from Rob, from a hosting perspective, like he was even because we had lunch after that, and he was just telling me like, "Oh, like you're a natural," and I said, "Yeah, I can't say no to that." But he was even just saying like, "Bro, you actually made it so comfortable." Like he was stressed out, like coming in.
Yeah.
He felt like he had to have notes and stuff. But then he realized he's like, "Nah, the next time I jump on, I already know what to expect." Like you literally carry the conversation, and yeah, I couldn't be grateful for that. So yeah, that was episode 1. Today we had Drew, Drew Pritchard. Yeah, and funny enough, they're both my clients. Like they're both my clients for TKV, and it was really good to kind of sit in the hosting seat and I guess build extra value as to what I can do for them. Um, at the start, they just see me as this guy that like do videos, and now one of them sees me as their social media coordinator, and the other one sees me as their other brother.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really good to get them both on. Drew's podcast is going to be launching this week. We're going to launch that out before I go to Perth, which I'm going on Saturday. But yeah, just overall, the experience that I've been having sitting in the hosting seat, I can do it again. I can do like 3 or 4 rounds for me. I feel like a Tony Robbins. Like that's how I feel.
Yeah.
How he does his Because did you end up going to his? Was it you that went to his Unleash?
No, I only did that online.
The online one, but
Yeah.
bro, he can run for hours.
I was listening to a podcast with him, and he goes 12 hours a day.
Exactly.
And if anyone who's been or seen a Tony Robbins event, he's not just sitting there. He's up, jumping around, and fucking crazy.
Yeah. So when it comes to like having conversations and doing like podcast stuff, I definitely can do that. So yeah, overall, man, I'm really grateful. Really grateful to be here in your studio, doing it for you. In terms of like bringing people in, having a conversation, but also, bro, they're looking around. And I was telling you this before, like they're recording, they're taking photos of your studio, and I couldn't be happy enough.
Yeah.
For them to do that. So yeah, man, probably just to answer your question, that's pretty much in a nutshell what I've been going through in terms of the process.
So we have Drew's podcast dropping next week. What else do the listeners have to look forward to?
Well, there's one thing that like we haven't. Oh, one thing I haven't looked into because that's something I'm going to be carrying is the community side of the Behind the Brand. But we're definitely doing extra content. I usually space like 10 minutes with the podcast guest, and we give them extra value for the community. So we're looking to doing that. But at the moment now, I'm just focusing on getting the social media, like shorts and all that stuff in, the reels. Because I think that's where, if you think about it, that's where the attention's going to start. The attention's going to start when they watch something, a snippet, and then from there, they start looking at, it gives them like a thought of, should I invest into the whole thing?
Yeah.
And they will look into the shorts first, and then they'll move into, okay, I might watch the whole thing. Customer, like in our business. And that's what, like I'm looking at it from a business standpoint, like community is what's going to drive you, like drive your business, and giving them the extra value and knowing that they're all they're sacrificing is a little to get much.
That's it. And coming back to the main point of people by people. So,
Yeah.
So by us creating this brand and showing who we are and what we're doing and building our personal brands, building our businesses, people are going to see that. They're going to respect that. We're going to build relationships and trust with them. And who knows what that can eventuate down the track with whatever opportunities come about. So it's exciting times.
Yeah.
These episodes are probably going to vary in length and vary in discussions that we're going to have. I feel like today is just going to be like a short and sharp kind of getting into it. Is there anything you kind of want to leave the listeners on before we kind of wrap up here?
I guess the first thing I'll probably leave on to, like, for this specific like episode that we're doing with the yarn, I think if you're someone out there that is wanting to start a business or that wants to start a podcast or that wants to see how it is like on the social media side of things, anything that's behind the scenes, we're literally going to have the conversation about it here. So if you're wanting, like if you're starting a business and you're wanting to have something that you can like work alongside, this is definitely an episode for you. Or if you're really invested into the behind the brand and you want to see what we're actually doing behind the scenes, not much so in a vlog type of set, but more like a conversation.
Hey, vlog might come.
A vlog might come. Like if you guys are definitely wanting the vlog behind the scenes of what we do, that's something that we could look into doing long term.
Because are you doing your own vlog or not? You're not doing any of that?
I'm going to start doing it very soon.
Because I just started today, actually. Got my little GoPro here.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm just going to start doing a little bit of vlog stuff, a little bit of car rants whilst I drive. So, yeah, if you want to follow any of the content that I do, obviously check out my Instagram, which is just Nick Beater Official. And then we've got Mr. Joshua Suliruka over here. TKV, The Better Project, Better Media, Behind the Brand.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things.
Anything else you want to plug, bro?
Just us. Yeah, obviously TKV, the guys' visuals. But yeah, I think I'll just finish off with saying, if there's anything that you'd want to expect out of this, like these episodes that we have, is that just know that the conversations that you are investing into is very similar to the conversation that we have in person. So we literally talk either business or we might have some yarns where we're having some issues with like clients and stuff.
Or we just talk shit.
Yeah, or we're just talking smack. Just know that this is an opportunity for us to express how we're going. It's pretty therapeutic on both ends. But yeah, just stay tuned and welcome to the yarns.
Grateful, bro. Are we doing gratitude in this one?
Always. Oh yeah, we should finish off with gratefuls. Yeah.
What are you grateful for today, bro? And to give context, from kind of when we first started connecting, gratitude has been a big part of our relationship.
Yeah.
Anytime we finish a call, grateful, bro. Grateful.
Yeah.
So, bro, what are you grateful for today?
Just finish off some gratefuls. One thing I am grateful for today is people. And not just people, like intentional people. Like I had a conversation with Drew today, but even just after the podcast, he stayed back. Like he was meant to leave at 11, he stayed back to 11:30, and he was just wanting to just have chats about business or life and stuff. So yeah, I'm grateful just for the people in my life, yourself.
Not that dog.
Yeah.
If you can hear that dog, I'm gonna freaking kill it, bro.
But I want to just talk specifically about you, man. Like, I'm really grateful for you, man, for like even the fact that you allowed me to.
Hey, wait! This is the OnlyFans segment.
Oh, sorry.
You gotta say that for the OnlyFans.
Sorry, I was on my knees. Now I want to be on my knees. Nah, but I'm definitely grateful for you, bro, because you were at a trial today, and you allowed me and trusted me to be in your space, and to me, that's a big thing, because in my head, I'm like, bro, there's a guy out there that is trusting in me to look after his space. And not only that, but to trust someone else to come into your space. And I don't take that lightly. So I'm really, really grateful for you, bro. Yeah, and that's all the OnlyFans stuff out. But yeah.
Well, I'm grateful for you for not burning down my studio. It's still intact.
Yeah.
It's still working and everything like that. But no, I'm thinking.
Yeah, what are you grateful for?
God, you hear those birds singing out there, bro? Just small things like that, like
Yeah,
grateful for just waking up each and every day and being able to continue doing what we're doing, even though there's a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and there's going to be days where, especially as business owners, we're like, why the fuck are we doing this? Or where's the next lot of money coming from? I got bills to pay.
Financially.
Like, can I continue to do this? There's going to be a lot of stress, a lot of overwhelm, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of questioning, like, why am I doing this? Is it going to work out? But ultimately, you just have to turn up each and every day. And I think that's the biggest thing to be grateful for, is that you are turning up for yourself and for the people around you, because no matter what struggles, it's just a season within your life. And it may feel like shit right now, but once you get through that, you're going to be able to grow and learn so much that you're going to take into the next season of your life, which is, I hope for you, is going to be better.
Yeah.
If it's not better, well, then that's even more opportunity for you to learn and grow.
100%.
Life happens for you, not to you. So just keep turning up each and every day and keep putting in the reps. That's what it's about.
Very grateful, man.